All right, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool and Jonathan. Today we have got a flight of persuasion. We've got 5 amazing little pieces of persuasion to share with our listeners today.
Yeah,
I think these are kind of fun. We haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm
it's
kind of
been
excited
guest
about
to guest to guest, back to back. So
Yeah.
we're finally got an opportunity to go through some fun stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about how to what a $7.95, how to turn a $7.95 into a $100 offer.
Yeah,
$100 offer from $7.95 from a $7.95 paper book to a $100 offer.
Yep.
And you sent me a link. You sent me all of these were stuff that you've pulled up. I'm really interested in the one on the Callaway because they spent a fortune trying to.
That one's going to be a little bit of a conversation, and we'll see how. I'd love your opinion on it when we get there.
Yeah.
I titled another one, "Dance with the One Who Brung Ya." Yeah, good old Southern saying, right?
There you go.
And then an annoyingly good idea. You can probably figure out which one that is.
Yeah.
And then was it worth it? That's the last one,
was it worth it? I like it.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we'll be diving into. But first, let's talk our beverages. I am coming off of a 7-day fast. I was gonna do something longer, and I just decided not to. I bailed. I bailed. Plain and simple, I bailed.
Pulled the eject.
And got a full 7 days in, water only. It was great. Had some great insights. Had some great. Dropped a few pounds. Cleaned up some stuff.
How much weight did you lose? I'm curious.
It's hard to say yet because I'm refeeding now. So I don't like to count the day I stopped because you're going to gain back some water and some glycogen and some other stuff. So, but it was 13 pounds. So I'll probably gain 4 of that back. So it's probably 7 or 8 pounds.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And nothing but water. Yours was strictly water. You didn't do bone broth or anything like that, right?
I had some electrolytes, but no bone broth or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, cool. It was actually remarkably easy. Like even the first 3 days were not hard this time. So just one of those times. But so today, as part of my refeeding.
Yeah.
It's part of my refeeding program. I'm having a V8. Here, let me pull it up on the screen. Since we like to do that. V8 vegetable juice. This is the original V8 juice that started it all. So that's all I'll say.
Done some rebranding. That's a little different can than what I've.
Yeah, they used to be red cans. Now they've gone green.
Yeah.
To be a more veggie look, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah. But
been a while since I've had a V8.
Yeah, I used to drink these just all the time.
Do you remember the old ads they used to run?
I should have had a V8.
Yeah, or I should have had a V8. Yeah.
Yes, should have had a V8.
Should have had a V8.
Slap on the head. Should have had a V8.
Yep. The last time I had a V8 was, I want to say it was on vacation. I went on took a little vacation last fall and had a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this is not that.
Yours is straight.
Yep. What do you have?
Let's see. I've got I'll bring it up here. This is a Shadow Lock Pilsner. We were talking.
That's an expensive Pilsner.
It is called the Burial. I love the artwork on this. It's let's see. Its story is often lost in depiction of its result, basking in the rays of the sun. The clock casts a new shadow and ushers in refreshing new life. What was once here has cured, transformed, and grown fuller. The story of its emergence is paved with untold patience. The Pilsner is the almighty gift of time, never filtered. The presence of hops provide an aroma suggestive of wildflower, honey, and lemon. Keep your palate clean and revel in your beverage.
Sounds like a good summer beer.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But man, $13 for a 6-pack, that's a little much for a Pilsner, I think. Man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, wow. Maybe it's special with that honey and lemon.
Yeah. All right, we'll see.
All right.
Well, let's cheers toast it up.
By the way, Sean, I got a little give a little shout out.
Okay.
So the sign behind me, it's a company that did this for me called Kings of Neon. And I got to say, these guys are pretty incredible. I had these guys do a neon sign for one of my other podcasts, and they gave me kind of a twofer deal. And so I had one done for the Persuasion. And it took them I was thinking this would probably take about 3 weeks or so from the time I ordered. They had 2 of these signs for the podcast ready in about like a week and a half, probably under a week and a half from the time that I ordered. So,
and look at that. They're having a July 4th, 30% off sale as well.
yeah.
Good
It's,
timing.
so they do, so I had conversations back and forth with them. They do work with other podcasters and doing stuff like this. They do a lot of signs, obviously, for companies. So I'm sure, obviously craft breweries in our industry probably do stuff like this. I mean, they're doing a lot of signs for bars and taverns and things like that. But it's cool. All you got to do, you go to their site, you upload their logo. They do a mock-up for you, and then they give you a phone call, or they send you their mock-up after the rendering of how it would look, based on the neon setup, and they'll have they'll call you, have a conversation, you approve it. If you like it, if you want to make some changes, you can say, I want this to be white light instead of, orange light or whatever, and they'll change it around. But really cool company. I have to give them kudos. So
yeah, that is cool. I put the link in the comments if you're watching us live streaming.
Yeah,
you'll find them there.
Yep.
So how's the beer?
You know what? It tastes just like a Pilsner. So, I mean, I'll give it a 3.5, but nothing special. It's a good Pilsner. Maybe I'll give it I'll tell you what, I'll give it a 3.8. 3.8.
Okay.
So
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'll give my V8 a solid 3.5. I mean, it's always reliable, knows exactly what you're going to get when you drink it. Yeah. It's one good thing about mass brands, right? You know what you're getting when you buy them.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as our little direct response world hates big brands, they do have some stuff going for them. And one is just reliability, certainty about what you're going to get every time. So
can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. All right, well, let's roll into it, man.
I got to hear about the golf.
You want to hear the golf? You want to start with the golf?
Let's tee off with the golf. Because I'm interested in this Callaway.
Yeah, so I just find this fascinating that. So this is not really. I don't really have a lesson to pull out of it. So you may have to help me with that, Jonathan.
Okay.
But here's the deal. Callaway is pretty big in the world of clubs, right?
Yeah, Big Bertha. I mean, that's...
So, but they want to be the best golf ball, and they're spending $100 million to build the world's greatest golf ball,
right?
Which is to knock off the Titleist Pro V1, I think.
Pro V1 is the number one. Yeah.
How big does this market have to be if you're willing to drop $100 million on a bet and change people's habits?
Well, here's the and you probably know this, Sean, but if you're buying a box of Pro V1, you're spending $60 for a box. Okay. So I mean, I don't know what their markup is. I don't know what their margins are.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine. I got to think that their margins are pretty stinking good, considering that like the lower tier type balls, you can get a set of them. And I used to do this. I rarely buy Pro V1s because they're outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that the average golfer is not out there buying Pro V1s.
No, I actually buy mine on. Rachel buys mine on Amazon. We've got it on the shop and save, where it just pops up like every other month. It's like, do you need golf balls? Yeah. Click. And it's an off brand, right?
Yeah.
It's not a Callaway. It's not a Titleist. And it works just fine. I can hit it just as far as I can a Pro V1.
Yeah. So that's the question. Is like, it did win a major though recently. The new balls is what the subtitle says. It says Callaway spent 3 years radically redesigning its signature ball. The result is the latest Chrome Tour, which just won the last major championship.
Well,
with
what they
Sanders.
that's an interesting way of framing that. What really happened is the golfer that won it happened to be using the Chrome.
Hey, Titleist does that too. So.
Oh, of course. I mean, but it's all framing and marketing. But it's good because I'd probably be wanting to use. I'd be using that too if that were the case. So, but I can tell you and there are differences, but depending on your swing speed, has a lot of bearing on what ball you want to go with. But I don't think it's to me, it's not worth, it's not worth $20, but for a guy that's a handicap or scratch golfer, or like a 1 to 5 handicap, maybe. I mean, they're going to spend the money.
I mean, I'm using range ball. I'm using leftover range balls. That's what I'm using because I'm nowhere close to need a better. Maybe if I used a better ball, I'm sure that's going to be part of the play. Like,
absolutely,
use a better ball.
And for the longest time, I used to get, I used to go by like Academy Sports and get the, you can get the bucket of like, it's a mix of balls, that are basically used balls. I mean, they've been recycled. They pull them out of who knows where, clean them up, and resell them. So
a lot of those balls have about 10 hits in them, so they're probably still plenty good.
Oh, absolutely. Some of these are like, they were used twice and somebody knocked it in the pond. First, some guy that can't hit a ball, he got these brand new shiny Pro V1s. Yeah. His first swing went in the pond or, in the woods. And so
it'll be interesting to see how they market this to get their money back out of this. That's what I'm curious to see going forward.
It's a consumable product. So I would say it is smart. It's a smart money move on their part because, if you get people hooked on it, then it's a consumable product. They're probably going to, stay with it. Everybody's got their own preference.
Right.
So I would say on a consumable product like that, a lot of people are buying, a new box of balls, every month or so, depending on how often they play.
And I think in golf, especially, there's not the brand loyalty that there is in other things.
Right.
You're always looking for the edge and the new gadget, the new thing.
Yeah. What happens with a lot of these balls is depending on if you belong to, certain golf courses or clubs, they will lock in a certain brand. Like, that's where you really, because a lot of people buy their balls, they'll pick up a sleeve or a couple of sleeves of balls at the pro shop before they go out. And so, front and center, a lot of times you see that Titleist, that Pro V1 right at the front, and
I would think Callaway would be able to get that space as well.
Oh, sure.
Already in there with their drivers and everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds and see if $100 million is worth it. We'll keep an eye on that. So let's move on to, this is almost old news at this point, but I wanted to cover it anyway.
Okay.
And that is that Pepsi has fallen from grace. Number 2 anyway, right? Dr. Pepper knocked him out. So do you think, so I was reading this article, that this ad agency's article is pretty good. And they made an interesting point. Like, did Dr. Pepper do better or did Pepsi just slack off? Like which happened? It's probably a little of both. I think the sports ads that Dr. Pepper does are just really good.
The Fansville ads, I think, probably play a big part because those are,
they're
so
not
good.
Just like every once in a while, like they're nonstop for those months.
Yep.
I don't know if they do anything like that for basketball or not because I don't watch college basketball, but during football season, man, they do
during college basketball, but it's not the Fansville type. Only college football has the Fansville ads. But but I will say, to your point, in sports, not just with the Fansville, Dr. Pepper has also reached out. They do a lot of reaching out to podcasters in the sporting, in the sports space, in football, some college sports.
Yeah.
So I've noticed this on a lot of local podcasts where they do reach out and they get a sponsorship with a local show, like a podcast that focuses on Alabama football. And sure enough, you'll hear ads on their local, on this particular niche podcast for Dr. Pepper. So
That's interesting. That reminds me of like the old, Coke used to go around, still do, I guess.
yeah,
And they would buy the scoreboard space for
Mhm.
schools, football fields, right? You always saw
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola on the scoreboards
Yep.
because they would go around and buy that space and put it in the
Yep.
concession stand and all that kind of stuff. So I like that. I like the grassroots marketing on top of the big campaign.
And to your point, whenever you see an interview with like SEC media days or in college football, if they're doing a presser after the game or something, you always see a bottle of Coke or a can of Coke right in front of them when they're doing the press conference.
Even if the coach doesn't drink it.
He's drinking, a lot of times he's drinking a bottle of water, but that bottle of Coke is right in front of him. So placement.
Just and familiarity, right?
Yeah.
Familiarity bias. Right. Well, one thing they said that I thought in this article was really good was, Pepsi has always been the newer version of soft drink, right? Coke was first, Pepsi came along second. Yep. So do you remember what their slogan used to be back in the 80s when they started really getting close to Coke and actually made Coke change their formula because they were so close to them? Do you
something
remember
about the slogan? Choice? It was something to do with choice, right? I mean,
yes, the choice of a new generation.
The choice of it. Yes.
The last time they've used that, according to this article, is 1991. So when I said earlier, dance with the one who brung you, maybe you should go back to that slogan, Pepsi.
Of course.
Because I think that would resonate today really well.
Yeah.
And if you went out to social media influencers with the choice of a new generation, I think you could get that number 2 spot back and put a little pressure on Coke like it did in the 80s.
Right. Because no one's heard these younger, I mean, the Gen Zs, they've never heard those ads. So
they're all drinking Ollipops and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Monster.
the new, Monster, Ollipop, Death Wish or whatever it is, the water.
Yeah. Yep.
All that stuff like that. So the market has definitely gotten a lot more crowded as well. But if you just look at this category, they've still slipped.
Yeah.
So if they just wanted to get back in this category, I think they could do that. So I don't care because I don't like Pepsi.
I don't even know what Ollipop is. What is
it's
that?
A flavored, but more.
It's like a flavored water.
It's a soda water. It's a soda.
Okay.
So it's a but it's just a new brand and it's got a little bit cleaner ingredients. It's still soda, but the kids think it's cleaner and better for you. So,
of course,
and it's got some wild flavors too. Like they have a lot more variety of flavors, like almost like a Fanta, but not as sickeningly sweet as a Fanta.
Right.
Fanta is like mostly syrup, man. These are lighter. So I mean, what's crazy is the soft drink market is still a $413 billion industry. So lots of room. I'm sure they're okay and they'll pay their bills at the third spot. But
and Dr. Pepper, that's a Coke product, right? I mean,
Dr. Pepper's its own product.
Oh, okay. So what is Mr. Pibb? Mr. Pibb is a Pepsi product, right?
Mr. Pibb is Coke.
Is Coke. Oh, wow.
Dr. Pepper and Pepsi, I think, had some type of relationship for a while, but Dr. Pepper is actually its own company.
Okay.
And
okay. Mr. Pibb, though, I haven't seen Mr. Pibb in a while. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still around, but
they're probably still around, but I bet their sales are just awful. I mean, it's probably Coke. Well, it's not even Coke now. It's Diet Coke, Coke Zero, probably Coke, and then maybe Sprite.
Yeah.
I mean, Mountain Dew is Pepsi's big second brand.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's.
And Pepsi owns like Coke. I mean, they own chips and Frito-Lay is part of Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
So, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. So,
Yeah, that's
This one,
crazy.
this one I think is pretty fun. An annoyingly good idea. So I was scrolling through the gram
Okay.
and come across this ad, and I'm like, what is going on there? And so I turned the sound on, because a lot of times you scroll with the sound off,
Yeah.
and I see this person blowing into their cup. And when I turn on the sound, it makes this foghorn train sound from their cup.
Okay.
So this guy has created an insulated mug.
Right.
And on one side, you drink out of it, and you twist it around 180 degrees, and you can blow into it, and it's a noisemaker for sporting events or wherever you are.
Well,
And it is like a train horn sounding. So you don't have to take your second noisemaker; you just have it right in your cup.
the
Now,
loud cup.
yeah, and I was like, oh my god! And they're only like $20. Like I thought
Mhm.
for sure, it's called the Loud Cup, but they're only $20. I thought they'd be like every other cup out there. They'd be like,
Yeah.
$80
They get
or
the
something.
Stanley pricing.
Yeah. So I mean, can you imagine this? The SEC is going to find out about this.
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to ban these things in a stadium this year because there's 50,000 people with loud cups and it just like because it
Well,
is so loud. I mean, I don't have it piped through. I'm here, but I'll put the link in the comments again.
they probably won't. And I'll say the reason why is because have you ever been to a
Yeah, I know, with
Mississippi
the
State
cowbells.
game?
Oh god. They did put
That
some
is,
rules around it though. They do have to stop when they're, I think, at a certain point before the play starts.
yeah, but it's so annoying. It's still loud and annoying, and the only way you can silence it is just beat the tar out of them.
Yeah.
So they have to. They're just going
Which is
home.
not, that big a deal, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
not that hard to do.
Exactly.
Well, just lost half our Mississippi listeners. Both of them.
Sorry, do you feel? Do you folks in Tupelo or Oxford or no? It's Starkville. Starkville.
Tupelo probably pulls for
Yeah.
state because they're up north. So
Yep.
everybody down south is pulling for Ole Miss. So
That's right.
yeah, I just thought it was it's kind of a cool idea, and the guys just he invented it, and basically somehow the air is going around the chamber in the insulated part of the cup, and then it's got basically a speaker on the bottom where the sound comes out. I was like, that's just brilliant, just a good idea.
What does it give you an example of what the sound? I mean, what it sounds like?
Yeah, if you go to the link,
Okay.
yeah, if you go to the link and then scroll down, there's a.
Does it sound? Can you get one that sounds? What is the soccer? What is the vuvuzela or
it does sound like that.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Hold on, let me see if I can get it again.
That's soccer, man. That's
You're like, I don't know.
yeah. That's
So
that's a soccer horn.
And if you control it a little bit, you can make it. You can do the bump 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 bump. Treat it like an instrument a little bit.
Yeah.
Somebody did one and it sounded like a train horn. But it does sound a lot like the soccer horns or whatever they use. So
vuvuzela. I guess that's how you call it. Vuvuzela.
I don't know. It's beyond me. So I thought that was kind of cool. If I had a kid in high school, man, I would buy one of those in a second. But
Of course,
I'm not going to any games right now, so I really don't need one here at the house.
Yeah,
would be a little excessive.
Kind of an obnoxious. Unless you got some people over that you really just want to.
Yeah.
Annoy.
Yeah, me sitting on the couch with my wife watching a game and blowing the cup is probably not going to be a great.
I think it's pretty creative, though. That's pretty ingenious. So
yes, and it'll be. I'm curious to watch this football season, see if it spreads, and see if people find out about it. So
right.
Hope he has his inventory up. If somebody gets a hold of it, if like Game Day gets a hold of one, or like I would be shipping those things to ESPN
easily
every week to get in front of them and get these on the set of Game Day.
Right.
Or I would go to a game day and be passing out.
Yeah.
500 of them or 1,000 of them. Because from there, man, you wouldn't be able to keep them in stock.
How did you stumble across this?
Instagram ad. So
Okay. Yeah.
so they're out there advertising. So it'll be
Right.
interesting how they ramp that up.
Yeah.
All
Very
right.
cool.
So here's the thing. Was it worth it? That was the segment I mentioned.
Right.
Have you seen on social media how a lot of people, especially the health crowd and, some of that crowd, they're really going after fast food and they're like, this stuff never molds, right? They'll put it and
Right.
they'll hold it out and they'll just leave it out on their counter and leave it
Yeah.
out and leave it out. And they'll do all these, they do Chick-fil-A, they do McDonald's, and they're like, this stuff just can't be real because it never goes bad.
Yeah.
And then you got one side that's like, that's because it's not real food. And the other side's like, it's called preservatives. It's science. Like, like whatever. Well, so how about this? Our friends over at Burger King, do you remember them? Did you know they were still in business?
I was going to say, they're not my friend.
So check this out. They did an ad, and I saw it on Instagram. They did an ad where they actually showed their burger molding over the course of a month.
Oh, look at that.
And it's actually growing mold and time-lapse photography. They show everything's wilting and all that stuff.
Sure.
Right? And so if you're watching the video with this, you already know the answer. But for our listeners, and I'll ask you, Jonathan, or maybe you saw it too. First of all, if you were in the meeting and somebody said, your ad agency said, hey, here's what we want to do. We want to do a video of your burger, your premier burger, your flagship burger. We want to show it molding and put it all over social media. Would you say yes to that? That sounds like a good idea, or no, it's not a good idea, or maybe we can try it?
No, I think that's an awful idea. You're fired.
Well, let's look at the numbers, shall we?
Which is why I'm not the CEO at Burger King.
That's why you're not the chief marketing officer
That's
there.
right.
So this social campaign got 8.4 billion impressions.
Yeah.
40 million in earned media, which means basically they got $40 million worth of free media. And here's the big one. 14% increase in sales.
Unbelievable. By showing a nasty, moldy burger.
Yeah. But they understood the trend that was going on of everybody attacking all these burgers that would not mold. So right. Like, well, ours is fresh, so it will mold. Like, give that advertising guy a raise.
Absolutely.
And whoever pitched it, give them a double raise to convince a corporation like that to put a moldy burger on billboards, on bus stops, and they put it everywhere. But so brilliant move. The other thing was, it said some of the studies were positive neutral sentiment was, so there was up 88% positive about Burger King in general. Something about artificial ingredients, believing it's artificial ingredients, 400% increase.
The question is, Sean, did it make you want to go out and get a Whopper?
It actually kind of did.
Really?
I was like, I haven't been to Burger King forever, but this might make me go. I literally said that to my wife.
When's the last time
I was starting to fast. So
when is the last time you've had a Whopper?
Oh my God. I don't know if I've ever had a Whopper. I don't know if I've had a Whopper in 30 plus years, because when I have gone, I've gotten the chicken sandwich. I like the chicken sandwich. It's actually pretty good. It's a little different than everybody else's.
Let me tell you a story with with one of their competitors, McDonald's. So it's probably been 3 or 4 years, maybe 3 years since I've had a Big Mac. Just haven't had one in a while. And it's not that I detest them or anything. It's just, I usually don't eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting a drink or something. But I saw a reel, I think it was last week, about it was last week. A guy that has eaten at McDonald's, he orders 2 Big Macs every day and has for since 1970, two, has been doing this every day. Doesn't mean, 6 days a week. I don't know what he does on the seventh day, but two Big Macs every day. That's his diet. That's what he eats. He's like, I just stick to what I like, and it's the best sandwich they ever made. And I'm thinking, and here's the interesting thing. They were interviewing both he and his wife. I mean, it was actually kind of a longer reel where he went through the process. He literally took the cardboard boxes of all of the Big Macs for the last 40 plus years and has labeled them, every one that he's had and the date that he got it. It's like obsession. He's got a total obsession with Big Macs. Yeah. And but the interesting thing is, they talked to his wife, and of course she said, I didn't know this obsession about him before I married him, but obviously they're still married. But she said, they went to the doctor, and his blood sugar is perfect. His triglycerides are great. His all of the the signs that if you eat this, you're going to have health problems over time. Everything looked good. The doctor said, you're in great shape.
Yeah, man. I'm on that guy's side. I have some beliefs about food that most people don't have.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing. Despite that, when I saw that, within a couple of days, I was driving by a McDonald's, and it happened to be lunch, and I said, I'm going to get a Big Mac. And it was good. I was like, man, this is really good. So
I'm more of a quarter pounder with cheese guy when I go to McDonald's. It's my go-to. I will say this. I usually get a McDonald's like if I'm catching like between flights, like in in Atlanta or something, transferring flights or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll usually hit a McDonald's because I know what I'm going to get. And a lot of the other restaurants you don't really know.
Right.
It's pretty fast. But if I were to go to a food court in the airport next time, I'd give a Whopper a try because of this.
Yeah. So, why not?
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I have no flights planned anytime soon. But, but there's no there's literally, I don't think there's a Burger King within 15 miles of me. So that's the other thing. There's not as many of them.
No, there's not. And I think the last Whopper I ever had was one of those Impossible Whoppers. That's not even it's not even real meat, which I don't know why I did that. I think I wanted to try and just see if it was literally tasted anything like, because that's what they were saying, is like you can't taste the difference.
Yeah.
And I was actually pretty surprised, but I wouldn't eat those things on a regular basis for sure. But
yeah, well, they McDonald's just kicked out the Beyond Meat burgers out of their stores.
Yeah.
So all right. Sorry. So I put the link to the burger in the comments section if you want to see that little reel. Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right. So lastly, we've got on deck here.
All right.
I saw this ad. I've been doing a lot more writing lately. So the algorithm has switched a little bit and sees me as an author now, just because the stuff I'm looking at and tools and different things. And authors tend to be readers, so I'm in the reading pool of algorithm as well. Right. And so I got this ad, and I was like, that's amazing. That is really smart. And I start looking at it, and basically what this company has done, Jonathan, is they've taken what would normally be like a $7.95 paperback romance novel. Mm-hmm. They have turned it into $100 experience. So how did they do that?
How do they do that?
The way they did it was they basically broke up the book into letters, and they mail the letters to you.
Oh.
And they tell you the story through letters that you receive in these fancy little envelopes with little maps.
Oh, wow.
Little postcards, and then the letter itself. It's definitely for women.
Oh, yeah.
But they have World War II romance, Regency romance, Western adventure, fantasy adventure, and then archaeology adventure. And basically, you pay a subscription, which I think is, I think it was $12.95 a month.
Okay,
if I remember correctly. If we just picked romance here, yeah, $12 a month or $100 if you prepay for the, and you get 24 letters, so you get 2 letters per month.
That's
I
it.
thought that was yeah.
2 letters. Hopefully, these are very long letters. I mean,
I think they're probably several pages. I mean, it doesn't really say, but yeah, it's
my wife can go through a novel in a week. You know,
right. But this creates that anticipation for the next one. Like you can't just blaze through it; you have to wait, and I think that adds to the experience of it.
Okay.
Because it creates that anticipation, like you're waiting for the letter from the next person. Because a lot of these are written as if the person is sending you the letter, from my understanding.
Oh, so it's like okay. So they're just not taking the story and then
Yeah.
putting it and just
Yeah, I was
pasting it
using that
into a
as an
letter.
example. Like if you were writing a typical story, it'd be a $7 book, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they've said, no, let's take a story and drip it out to people in the
Okay.
mail and charge $100 for it. Now they've got some printing costs and things like that, but even, at the bulk that they're probably doing, 24 letters, if they spend, $2, $3,
Mm-hmm.
they're still, 25, 30, $50, for that story.
What are these letters? Is there a close up on these things? I mean, does it look like a handwritten type or is it printed or?
I think it's typed.
Typed. Okay.
Yeah, it's typed.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll have a little bit of stuff with it, like little maps or things like that, pictures of flowers, pictures of people, the characters.
Once again, I have to ask, how did you stumble across this?
Just the old social media ads. That's where I find all this stuff.
Yeah, because you're, like you said, because you're writing more.
Yeah.
They just, their target marketing.
Yeah, I've looked at some like author, publishing tools. I've looked at, some of that stuff. So like I said, most authors tend to be readers, so that probably overlaps.
So I gotta wonder,
reading sites, but
so I can imagine this would be very successful with a core audience of people.
Yeah.
And I would say it would be particularly strong on the female side.
Yes. And definitely seems to be the website, everything seems to be geared towards women.
Because it looks kind of flowery and.
But you know what I said when I saw it? I was like, ooh, that'd be a nice gift for my wife.
Bingo. Yeah. But if you're going to do a subscription, that's not a one-time thing. So you're doing it ongoing for, what did you say? $12 a month?
Yeah.
$12 a month plus the cost of.
It's cheaper than flowers.
Where's the $100 come from? If it's
that's if you prepay for the year.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty creative. I like that. I mean,
I do too. I thought that's a great example of taking, a format. So when in copywriting, one thing they say is if you can invent a new format in copy, you can have the same copy and like just skyrocket sales. So when the video sales letter came out, I was at Stansberry when the financial industry started using it, and we saw 10 to 12x more people buying from a video sales letter with the exact same copy than the traditional letter. Now eventually it came back down, but when they first came out, they outperformed like crazy.
Yeah.
When the health industry went to magalogs, which is the supplement things, they look like magazines and they've got a bunch of short little articles. It's not just one long sales letter. Kind of is, but it's also it's laid out to look like a magazine, and those do really well. So if you can invent a new format, a lot of times you can really shake up an industry and get a lot higher results. Now this isn't a sales letter, it's a product, but I think the same thing applies.
Well, it goes back to what we've been talking about with our last two guests, is turning something that's typical into an experience, taking a book, which, is a book, a novel.
Yeah.
And turning that into something completely different, which is a whole experience of, as you mentioned, the anticipation, the the packaging around it, and going to the mailbox. Everybody's nowadays, there's this drift back towards the physical product where people love going to their mailboxes. We talk about this and, pulling the letter or the package out of their box. And
it's not a credit card offer. It's not a credit card bill. I mean, even people don't even get bills anymore. They pay them online, but they get credit card offers in the mail.
I'll tell you what I would be doing, and you can disagree with me, but I'd be running ads on Kindle, like Kindle books.
Oh yeah.
I would be running ads for this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
idea. I don't
idea.
know. Can you do that? I mean, I don't read enough. Does Amazon let you run ads outside of their platform? Because I know they advertise for other books that you find on
advertise Amazon. You can advertise the books that are on Amazon there, but they do have a huge. Most people don't realize. I learned this one of the companies I was working with, because they spend $250,000 a month on Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody spends that much on Facebook ads, anybody who sells ads finds out about them. Like, you know, they just know who they are, right? So Amazon came calling, and Amazon has just this whole universe, kind of like Google does, of ad companies outside of Amazon, just all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if they would let you advertise something like this on the Kindle platform. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd be putting it on those and some of their core audience readers with the books that they're buying, which are like probably a lot of romance or, similar interest, books of interest that they're reading. Probably be cheap advertising too, on a $2 Kindle.
Well, I mean,
book.
I haven't been on TikTok much, but I mean, that would be a good place because TikTok has become, one of the big things on TikTok is books. Like there's a whole, hashtag of book talk, get in that world. Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea of just turning a traditional product, pretty boring product.
I do too.
Into an experience.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how else could we do that? So yeah, it is interesting because that's, like you said, that's what we've had kind of the topic the last 2 weeks before this as well. I mean, it's a little more work, it's a little more effort, but
I'd be running these right around Valentine's Day or perfect timing for
well, this is a good time of year. A lot of anniversaries right now.
Anniversary, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, the gift that keeps on giving.
I love it. What a cool idea.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, man, that's really cool.
So, mention what's the website one more time?
Theflowerletters.com.
Theflowerletters.com. All right. Yeah. We'll give them some.
Definitely a chic website.
Yeah. Not our target audience, but, or not meant for us. But again, if you want to keep the wife happy, maybe it is for us.
Yeah. And I mean, you could roll this, if they're successful. I don't really know their stats or anything.
Right.
I mean, you could easily roll out a men's version,
Oh yeah.
The tool shed letters or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. There's a core audience of,
I mean, you could do it for comics. You could do it for, you do a lot of different stuff with this format for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the old, direct response newsletter thing, right? I mean, you're learning a lesson and stuff, but most people kept those newsletters for the personality, not the information. They kept hanging on because there's just enough personality in there.
Right.
You want to know what was going on, So yeah. So that's the flight for today.
I love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
What a cool idea.
So we're taking the next 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Next week's
the 4th of June, or actually the day after the 4th. So it's kind of a holiday type thing. And then we'll take the following week off, and then we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Raring to go. Sean will be completely recovered from his fast. So he will be back into the beverage game.
I will. I have 2 sitting in the fridge right now. So
oh, good.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, it's been a good show.
Yeah, very good. Great topics. And again, you can find us persuasionbythepint.com. You can find us on all of your favorite platforms, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. Leave us 5 stars. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you all next time around here in a couple of weeks when we're back on. And have a great holiday. A lot of people are taking a whole week off next week for the 4th. Enjoy. Have a great time. And I will say, Sean, we didn't mention, for good reason, we could have, for search traffic opportunity, we could have talked about the the debate last night, but that was
worth talking about.
It was a train wreck. And we found no redeeming value from Persuasion whatsoever. Unless you want to talk about compare and contrast. There was definitely some compare and contrast going, but yeah, that was kind of sad. It was like watching a car wreck.
Yeah.
But
yeah, one of my friends actually said, he wrote on Facebook today, he's like, this may be the first time in a long time that the country has been united in the fact that they did not like what they saw on either side.
Yeah, it was
like, I've heard, I mean, everybody's like, that was just bad.
It was bad.
We need another choice.
It was a clown show. It looked like something out of Maury Povich. Or
I tell you who won that debate. RFK won that debate.
He did, yeah.
He probably got jumped up a whole lot in interest.
I would say he earned a lot of.
I will say he definitely earned. He earned a nomination for the next election for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody,
because he was debating on his own, or he was answering a lot of the questions on his own platform, I guess, with questions. So but yeah.
All right.
Should be interesting. We'll see you all next time. Enjoy. Take care. We'll see you on the next episode.
See ya.